Hello there and divine loving greetings to you. It's me, Alura. Welcome back. It's been a little while since my last video with you face to face like this, and I did miss you all, a whole great deal. So I have some good news before we get into the topic for today. I will be a mother again. I'm 6 months into my pregnancy, and I'm going to be having a baby girl, which, brings me so much joy. My life as an oracle, it was a very lonely one. There's no time for my personal life. I have no personal life. I never did. It's been God, heaven, and helping others. And relationships, I love everybody the same, so it's hard to love one person above others, and they're always like in the background or back burner, trying to keep up with my focus always being on others and trying to help people, and then with God. So for them, it's, a hard life for them to understand, as I'm talking to some unseen being and coming up with wisdom that they may not understand yet, or guiding and always trying to direct, which can get a little bit boring. On top of that, channeling, I change all the time because I'm channeling. I'm always in their thoughts. The last person that I even tried to have a relationship with, they said, "Why do you always have to be in my thoughts?" And I'm thinking, well, I don't mean to, and it's not something that I just pick up on intuitively. Like, I'm there, I can see it, I can hear it, as if I'm in your mind with you. And it's like that when I go out too, even beside relationships, being out in public, it's awful for me because I bear the weight of others' pain out there in the world. I carry the pain of people in public that I feel when I do feel for them, out there, that suffering that they have, and many have it, and then in my family, and then with the people that come to me for help directly. It's a lot, and I am optimistic, because I know where everything's going to lead. I know what's going to happen. So I can be happy for them, but they can't see that themselves. So the pain that they feel until something comes, I feel that with them. It's like it's my own. So life is very confusing for a lot of people that try to get close to me. And that's why I find, being very isolated helps me more with my psychic gifts, because I'm not out there, always one-on-one or out in public to where, everything's kind of weighing on me. At least I can do my work and help other people, and then just kind of, withdraw and keep myself safe and be with God in heaven, which is the topic of this video. So as I'm getting older, it's been hard, being a pure person, trying to help others, exercising the virtues, and having a form of love that many don't hear. You say unconditional love, and many don't understand what that means. They think, I love you no matter what. But there is always some condition, underlying, and it's not perfect love, because, you catch people that I do. I catch people that say they love me, and they do show it, but in their mind, they do have negative thoughts about me at times, for judgment, jealousy issues, and so on and so forth. And when I pick up on that, I think, well, that's not, unconditional love. Unconditional love is where you don't feel those things at all, because you love that person, so purely, so truly. So with that, it is a hard life, and it's hard to find others that are like me. And so children and animals, they are the closest innocence and purity in this world to me, that I can find. I'm sure it's out there, but I haven't found it yet. I know a lot of people that are getting closer. I know a lot of people that are fighting for it, and they're trying. But for me, here in my little bubble, I need that. And, having this baby really makes me happy, really does. And she's going to take on my work. She's going to be, a soul just like mine, and more knowledgeable, in fact, and help lead the next generation. And it's going to be probably way harder on her than it is for me, I'm sure. So I hope if you're still around as she gets older, you'll be supportive to her in her work too. So this video is about my life with God, because people don't really believe in God as much anymore. They believe in science, which is okay. hey, look, whatever you believe in is fine by me. I have no reservations. I do see things, within other religions and other teachings and such, but you know, I still try to commend them, give them respect because of what those who are good in those establishments are trying to do. Religion is a very good foundation to grow on. I didn't have it. I was thrown into this world, master abilities, master knowing, all alone. So that was very difficult for me because there was nobody. But for others out there that want to live a righteous life, finding religion or finding a teacher such as myself or other good teachers out there, it's a very good cornerstone. And the rest of the house, so to speak, that's going to be built, the rest of the structure of your spiritual path is going to be based on how far you want to go with it, what you're willing to invest into it and sacrifice and change to get there. Because when you say that you're righteous, or you say that you're awake, or you say that you're enlightened, there's so much more to that than just acting knowledgeable and psychic. It goes well beyond those things. So my life with God, and I say God, and I know that that's not the proper term, God in itself is a greater power than anyone, on this world, on this planet could ever comprehend. And there are many creators, there really are. Now, with that, I have always had my connection with mine, and growing up, I was never alone. I would be a little girl playing, and, I had really no interest in the toys because, there was my creator with me, talking to me and teaching me, as I'm looking up, listening, and others, should they come into the room, couldn't see anybody there. They could just see the glow on my face and hear the wisdom in my words for somebody so small. So I went through life being taught that way, and it was amazing because, you go to school, and I have never depended or trusted on anybody, but my creator. I really haven't. I would ask, is this person a good person to be friends with? No. That person is going to hurt your feelings after such and such amount of time, and this is what they're going to use to hurt you. Stay away. Okay, well, who can I be friends with? That person over there is a very good person who's going to be very loyal, very loving, and very respectful to you. That's a lifelong friend. And while I didn't find many of those, the ones that my creator pointed out to me, they were lifelong friends. So I could go outside and be totally by myself because I barely had friends. I mean, I had some, but I would just lay out in the grass and look up at the sky and just channel my creator and get taught all of the mysteries, that I could possibly come to know at that age about life, about the world around me, and then the animals and hearing their voices and the trees and seeing beyond, the veil into a world of spirit where others, they couldn't see. And it was frightening. You see things that you don't understand, things that aren't normal according to the appearance here. And my creator would always teach me, you don't need to be afraid of that. This is, such and such. This is someone that's responsible for helping others in reasoning. So I got to learn the different spirits and the different species of spirits, and I could just lay there for hours, listening to my creator teach me about that, sometimes looking down at something as simple as an ant, and my creator teaching me all about their way of life, helping me to see the perspective of it on a deeper level that others probably didn't think. Just looking and saying, wow, these are like the Egyptians, of the smaller world. They have a whole family, a whole civilization, a whole government, and they just get walked on every day. So it's things like that that we talked about. And then also, teaching me about different spiritual scriptures, helping me see, truth and a lie, and then also helping me to know things, that were going to happen to prepare me personally, and then help me kind of know how to slip it in there, to let another person be aware, without throwing it at them. There's people out there, they're the Long Island medium. I've seen her work, and she's a wonderful woman, beautiful woman, very kind, and you can tell, that it's a hard life for her too. You can see the sadness in her eyes. You could probably see it in mine as well. But she has been through a lot with her work, and sometimes I disagree, with the way that she projects it. She just walks right up to people, and just kind of throws it at them. And it's got that shock value in the moment, but that can be very traumatizing for some, and there may be some who aren't ready for that yet. So my Creator always taught me, to do it in a way that was gentle, loving, and kind. Don't sugarcoat things, but just say it in a way that the person, can relate to it, accept it, and then maybe think about it, and maybe come to a deeper realization later. I learned about different cultures of people. I learned about, true history, things that really happened that they don't talk about. I learned about the setup of the world, the powers that are always at war with one another. But as I got through school and as I got through my life, the one thing that I noticed that was the hardest was other people. Other people make the world a difficult place. And I would sit there and just cry for hours with my Creator, talking to my higher power about, why don't people love each other, Lord? Why don't people care? Why do they act this way? Why do they make these choices? Whatever the choice or behavior was at the time. Why can't they love? It was hard, for me to really understand. So living my life with God also was less lonely, because my Creator would talk to me and share things with me, and when there were hard times, gave me an answer to everything that I needed to know. And I know that there were a lot of things that I struggled with, the imperfections of others around me. And to go into those, it is a very, very personal level. And I want to share those things with you. But people in this world, they judge. And it's a very ugly place here. It's a very ugly place. You can't find, people that are understanding. But with that, I have had things done to me. I have not wronged others. I love people. And they don't understand I'm not like everybody else. And the Creator made me that way. The Creator always taught me, don't have a judgment, don't have an opinion. See the truth, but don't hold an opinion. When somebody hurts you, that's it. Forgive, be merciful, give kindness, but don't let them back in so they can do it again. And there were many times, that I wanted to listen but didn't, and I learned from it, and I would see, wow, this person's going to hurt me, but I would go in 100% anyway, because I hoped, pathways always change in the tree of life, and I hoped I could change it. And I know that the Creator always sent to me very dysfunctional people that needed help and they needed fixing, and I was always willing and ready to do it. So when I got through childhood, which was probably the most difficult thing, I went into my teenage years, and the Creator got me through some horrific things I went through. There were times that I tried to make friends, and the kids in my area were into things that I just wasn't into. I was a book nerd. I was seeking to define what I knew from the Creator, what I knew from my memory of heaven, from my work in the Akasha, from the things I saw. I needed a definition for that here. And the Creator would point me into different places, like I said, a truth, and then I would see the lie, and I'd have to pull it all, together. But with that, I really wanted friends. I had the Creator, but teenage years, those are the years where you're still trying to kind of define your place in the world. And I knew I never really had a place. My place was just with the Creator as my friend, and whomever I did meet, it was going to be to help. But I tried to always make it personal. And the kids that I was friends with, they were drinking, they were into some really horrible things. And I remember, my parents, they felt sorry for me because I didn't have anybody. And they would say, well, invite the kids over, let them come over. And I would let them come over, and they would be drinking beer in the kitchen. And I'd be thinking, oh my God, why? Why are they doing this? And then I'd ask the Creator, and the Creator would tell me, well, that kid gets beat at home, and that kid's sad because he doesn't have money to have what everybody else has, and that girl over there is molested by her stepfather. And then I'm thinking, wow, well, no wonder why then. But why don't they just lean on you? And he would tell me, it's because they can't see or hear me. And because of that, there is no faith or belief in the unseen. When people talk to them about God and they say they believe, their idea of God is that there is somebody out there, but they don't know it personally. And when they pray, their answers don't come in right away. And that's something else the Creator taught me too. You can't expect things to happen on your own time. There's events that need to change, people that need to be put into place and change. All of that has to come together, and it takes time to make change. It really does. Somebody had once asked me, well, if you're an angel, why don't you ask for money? And I'm thinking, well, first of all, I don't care about money. I do have to make money to support the people that are still on 3D here, but that's about all I care about it for. Just like any of you have to get paid for your jobs, I do too. I do a lot for free. My whole life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is doing this. But I don't want $1 million. I'd like to have help to get sponsorships so I don't have to charge, at all. But unfortunately, people don't do those things. I did have a really nice man. His name was Mark, and he helped me out a lot. He was helping in donations and, trying to be a support system for me. And it was pure motive and intention. This was not out of, any attraction or romantic feelings. It was just saying, wow, Alura is for real. She's done these readings for me. She's done things in my life. She's changed me. She's for real. Let me try to give back if I can. But, everybody has to support themselves in life, of course. Nevertheless, I'm not going to manifest, $1 million. It's being greedy. It's all about ego. So that was out of the question. But the other thing is, to manifest anything, you have to understand and see, first of all, it has to be in your divine plan. It has to be in your contract. Are you meant to have money like that? If not, why? Were you here to be wealthy or middle means or poor for whatever lessons? It all goes hand in hand. And even if you were meant to have that money, think about it. You have to figure out a physical outlet for it to manifest through. So it takes time when you make the request. So the Creator taught me that, but they didn't understand about prayer or manifestation at all. And they were just looking for something to latch onto, and they found coping mechanisms. And I cried. Like I said, I take the burdens on me, I take the burdens on myself like I'm living it with them. So my mom was somebody that had a lot of issues and struggles herself, and with the guys that were coming around, some of them were a lot older than me, and that's because they were like older brothers or older friends of the friends that I had. And it was a very lonely life for my mom, and I'm sure she suffered from self-esteem issues. My grandfather was a Mason, very secretive life, military man. He was a great guy, but he was secretive. He had connections with a president that he had worked for, secretly. I can't get into that, and I don't want to. But he also, belonged to the lodges and was very involved. So their life was always very quiet. He was very strict. There was a lot of dark energy. And with that, she didn't have a life either, for all the wrong reasons. So when my friends came around, my mom thought, she was the cool mom that was going to be friends with the friends. And my dad worked all the time, and I'm sure that you can all kind of figure out, my mom's actions from there. And that hurt me too, because I'm thinking, my father's a good, righteous man. He does everything for us. Why would my mom behave this way? What kind of example is she even setting for me? And it would break me. And I would pray, and the Creator was always there, always, always there, to talk me out of those periods of sadness. Because just because I'm awake and I'm, ascended, doesn't mean that the things that I see don't hurt me. I have feelings. My feelings change, of course, when I'm analyzing things from that divine level. But when you're here in a physical body, it hits you 3D first. It does. So it takes a minute. You realign. Even some of the greatest masters, Yeshua, aka Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, they all went through the same things because they were trying to cope with the world around them too, and it's a hurtful, evil world. Seeing the influences that were deliberately put out there for children, that kids were learning off of. It was like, wow, this world is headed for disaster. And I saw it all unfolding. And the Creator would talk to me and reassure me, Allie, everything's going to be all right. You just have to be strong. Just, oh my God. Anyway, you just have to be strong. Things are the way that they are here, and they're going to get a lot worse. And Bible prophecies that were coming true before my eyes, new prophecies that I had that no one else did, that were happening. And when I finally started doing this work, it was like, wow, all the things that I saw in those friends, all the things that I saw in my mom's behavior, all the things that I witnessed in seeing their thoughts and feelings, reading into their past lifetimes, just in, my life experience had taught me a great deal, to work with others, then psychology, theology, religious history, all of that came together to give me that definition that I needed to build the foundation to say, hey, if you are like-minded, come this way. I'm going to offer you something else. And now, the Creator is trying to help me to help those people. And it can be very frustrating for them because they're trying to learn and they're trying to understand how the Creator works in their life. The synchronicities, good and bad, duality. They're trying to understand, why are there so many obstacles? What's the difference between the tests and the obstacles? Why are they even there? Why do I even have to be tested? There's so much to all of this. And I was lucky enough to have the Creator to teach me through it. I always made good choices, had a good head on my shoulders, always knew beforehand. I always say this. People claim to be connected with the higher self. The higher self is not a floating entity on a spaceship or a cloud. Higher self is the epitome of you throughout your entire journey. This is your memories, your experiences, your talents, everything. All the languages that you've spoken, the places that you've been, the people that you've met, the mistakes that you made. And it's all in that database. And it's not just in the DNA. The only Akasha that you have in the DNA comes from, your ancestral Akasha, what they witnessed throughout passing the genetic code down. But your Akasha is different because you could have had different parents in each life, different family bloodlines in each life, different birthdays in each lifetime. Pardon me, I'm getting tongue-tied. And all those energies, they go into that database and it's stored and it grows. And people, I always say, if you were connected to your higher self and you were awake, you'd remember all that and you wouldn't be making no mistakes now anymore, would you? Because you would know better from remembering. It's true. And that's why in my life, people, like going back to the relationship thing I was talking about, it's hard for people to be in relationships with me because I'm all perfect. Everything always has to be perfect. Everything has to be done perfect, has to be done the right way. If someone's not doing it the right way, I have to say so. You're not doing that the right way in your life, or you're not doing that the right way in your chore. Do things the right way. That way you don't have to go back again or regret or have guilt. And then, make time for your dreams, your goals. Don't let them pass you by. And the Creator never let me pass mine by. The Creator was always there to push me in that direction. And through my relationship with the Creator, sometimes I'll be sitting here talking to somebody else and all of a sudden that person's talking, I'm automatically reading, I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm feeling, beyond what's on the surface. And the Creator comes in and, It is so overwhelming because that voice is like a trumpet blaring. It is the greatest of all wisdom and realization. And I can't get on my knees in that moment and say, oh, excuse me, I'm being talked to. They understand who and what I am, but they're not going to understand, really, really. So it is difficult. There's times I have to try to play it off like I'm normal, act like I'm average. There's times I have to have conversations and, ask questions as if I'm interested, but I already know. Surprises that are sent to me, that the creator already tells me, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't expect this, but I did. And I think that even though sometimes it makes life, a little unexciting, it is the most exciting thing to know that you have a friend that will always lead you in the right direction, that will love you no matter what you do, always want to teach you, always want to help you to grow, always want to save you. The only one that will be trustworthy, loyal, and dependable in its truest form. And even if you can't hear the creator yourself like I do, you could feel it. You could feel it. But some people are just in so much of a rush in life, caring about all the wrong things, that they don't look for the feeling anymore. Or maybe they feel that their God or higher power or whatever it is to them has abandoned them or let them down. Where they don't even care to reach for that anymore. People pray, they hear nothing back. It's like talking to themselves, they give up. But prayer is a one-way conversation. It is. And the hierarchy carries your prayer up for you depending on where you're at in the ladder. And the creator does get it. And you can always check for that feeling inside, whether it's from your guides or higher self, wherever you are, again, in the ladder of ascension of heaven, you're always going to get some kind of response. But the 3D world is too distracting. For me, it wasn't. I want to share that with everybody, to teach them how to love themselves, how to have a better life, how to fix their issues and problems as simple, as it's said. Because a lot of people, they hear what they have to do to change, but then it's like, I can't do that. It'll take too long, or I can't do that. I give up. And I've never done that. The creator was always there for me to help me and guide me, and has been my only friend. And I don't think that there's anything in this whole entire world that I could compare to that, or that I could find in another living person here. And even like with children and animals, they all grow up. They got to live their own lives. Many people would think my children are, living a perfect life as I am, or trying to. And they're not. I got to let them make their mistakes too. I can't be a strict parent and say, well, you can't do this. The creator would tell me, but ultimately it was up to me, to listen. Most people don't. I did. I'm lucky. Others don't. My kids don't. They make their bad choices and decisions sometimes, and they learn from it. They come back and they say, oh man, mom, you were right. You called that one. You always know. You always do. Or they bring their friends to me. Mom, what do you see in this person? What's in their future? Okay, well, this is what this person's about. And the creator says that this is where they're going to end up. And then they want to have a friend, so they accept. And then later on come to find out that what the creator told me about that person, was true. So my life has been full of miracles because of the creator. Healings that we've done for people out there in the world. Even my own father had cancer. I've healed cancer a couple of times, not just in him, but in others. It doesn't work every time. That has a lot to do with faith and, your own inner doubt. That all miracles do. We've also, had to hit rock bottom, hit hard times, and the creator, says, if you have faith in me, you're not going to worry about nothing. You're not going to worry about anything. I got you. Just be patient. Exercise the virtues and be patient. And I do. And, he always rescues me. It's all about being obedient, righteous, virtuous, that are the stepping stones towards getting up that ladder, towards real true awakening and ascension. But with the creator by my side, I've had a lonely physical life, but never a lonely spiritual life. And if I had to trade it, I wouldn't. I'd rather have, my higher power there beside me than any person that could inflict any hurt or harm. And you should love your higher power the same way. Talk to your higher power. If you can't hear anything, just feel the love, put the trust, the faith, and that's when you see miracles. They're not going to happen right away. The Creator doesn't have to prove itself to you. You have to prove yourself. That's what you're here for. You're in a 3D world with obstacles, hardships, and tribulations to prove yourself. That while you're imprisoned in this flesh, that you can still make the right spiritual choices to create a better reality around you here. But as you can see, that flopped. It's disharmonic. It's all in a disarray. There's immorality and sin. And no one is proving anything except just following the trends and the cycles that are going to lead to a destructive path at some point. Unhappiness, strife. You see the TV, people on the TV, they're not happy. They act like it for your entertainment, even in reality shows. But they're not. They're miserable inside, hollow and empty. So the point of this video is that you got to build a relationship with your higher power. You have to. In order to grow, you can't expect to become enlightened or awakened and not have to have some kind of relationship with those that are above you in the spiritual hierarchy of things. It starts with the spirit guides. Then it goes to, higher self or higher perspective. And then it goes to, other angels. And then it goes up the ladder of angels, to the Creator. And a lot of people rely on a lot of wisdom from star beings too, which is great and everything. But that also, requires having a key into those worlds. And that's something that you're not just going to have or get. You have to transcend here in this reality first. Then you can get into the other ones that are all around that. And unfortunately, that's also something that's seen through how a person lives, how they talk, what they talk about, how they treat others. If a person's there based on the wisdom that they have. If it's just repetitive of everybody else, then it's just a trend. It's not really real. And that's what I see a lot out there. But when you get a key and you can open up those other gates and doorways into other realities, your wisdom is unparalleled. It's not a game. It's not a game, and people treat it that way. But the first stepping stone to get there is to develop a relationship. I had it my whole life. I was taught about spirits. I've channeled angels. I've gotten into those doors. How do you think I'm able to provide you all with the information I do in the blogs and in your readings? You have to have the virtues, the love, and the faith. And once you prove yourself that way, many things come to be opened up for you. But you have to be doing it out of unconditional love, because the heavens are divine, holy and divine. I don't know what this world today's definition of holy and divine is, but holy and divine means you're perfect and full love and trust and virtue and wisdom. So you have to work your way to that first. And as you do, you'll see so many miracles, coming into your life. You don't have to be there yet fully, but even just making a first few steps, you'll start to see so many other miracles unfold. There's been a lot of people that have worked with me. They've worked tooth and nail to get where they are, and while they're not there all the way, they've accepted because they're humbling, and they are starting to see miracles come into their life too. It's when they start doubting that the miracles are taken away. You have to have perfect faith and perfect trust. So I love you all. Our creators love you. The angels love you. I thank you for watching. My relationship with the Creator has been wonderful. Build one with yours and watch things grow. Love and light.